I recently did some branding work for my brother. He is in the world of information systems. Now, what does that mean? I have no idea. He crunches data and makes it useful. He has a client that does royalties. This client would take a few days to gather all the data, and now his software just does it all for him within like 1 minute. It's all about numbers and crunching data. So my solution to brand him visually was to create this generative art in Blender's geometry nodes. So we have each little modem, each ring being created using geometry nodes here. And full disclosure, I am still practicing how to use geometry nodes. So my solution was to make it on just a long plane, and then twist it up and then fix the orientation like so. If there's a better way, please let me know. So in this main geometry node, I'll just expand this out. It looks like a lot, but it's basically just random numbers. So I'm grabbing the object and just creating a random number. So you just grab the location and multiply it, and then put it into this random value here to create a grid with random rows and columns, as we see here, 16 to 40, and then 2 to 4, like so. So this one, you see, has 3, but since some of them have just 1, this has more, just to create some variety. And then after that, I do have this truncated modulo, which does most of the heavy lifting to select a somewhat random checkered pattern. And this was a pretty fun one to play around with. As you can see, so that is where that comes into place. It, again, creates a somewhat patterny look to it, and that then is separated into 2 different objects to assign it a material, and then is joined. And then I just basically do it again with the modulo here, and it's split into another one, see, and join it back in, and then that is repeated across. So I'll hide all of that and turn the iterations down to 2, so you can see that this is one of the blocks. All this just makes that one block, and then a random scale. I'll just show you the whole view here, so you can zoom in. That is the whole breakdown of the geometry nodes. Each time you duplicate it, it has a different design, and it's based off of the location as well, as we can see here. Oh, and that then each texture here has a its own random color. A, B, and C, they got their own little random color going on here, as we see. So that main design became the primary motif for the business card. And here we have just the InDesign document that I made for the card. Contact, all that standard, and the back. But a fun little detail is once it's, it's flipped, it can actually be attached back to that. So if you had a few business cards, you could see how they stack up. So for the landing page websites, I wanted to create a more interactive version of the design. When you're making stuff for the web, you don't want it to have a very big file size. So I could have just used PNGs, but that could add up very quickly. So I instead am using SVGs. Now that was a bit tricky to create. I tried out a few different solutions. The first attempt was to use just image trace in Illustrator, but doing that was pretty messy. So the solution was to still use image trace, but to do one ring at a time, and that worked out pretty good. Look, this is the PNG and this is the SVG. Looks fairly clean. So for the design on the website, it looks at the cursor X and Y position to assign some value on each ring spin. And on desktop, it is, of course, the cursor, but then on mobile, it is the scroll, like so. Now, for the code, this is the only thing that's interesting, I think. So I'll just talk about this real quick. I grab the X and the Y of the cursor, and each ring gets its own random appearing percentage of that movement. So here is the X times that, and that's the degrees. Then Y and Y did different amounts than X, and then Y plus X. And you get the idea that that makes those things move. So that is it. Hope you enjoyed this quick breakdown on how I did the branding for my brother's company.